You guys see the title, you know why you're here. This next story is a true story. It should be used as an example of what are the possibilities when dating, visiting, or traveling around the world. Watch or listen to this while you're driving, cleaning, on the train, at the gym, or just getting things done. Grab yourself a drink or a snack. This is a story you don't want to miss. Stay until the end. This one is a banger. Here it goes. My name's Paul, and I'm 37 years old. I'm a teacher, originally from the States, but a few years ago, I made a pretty big decision that totally flipped my life around. I packed up everything, sold my house, and moved to Thailand. You might be thinking, why Thailand? Well, let me explain. At the time, I had no major ties back home. No kids, no crazy job stress, no debt weighing me down. My house was paid off, and I had saved up a solid 80 grand in the bank. I've been working as a teacher for a while, and honestly, I was just burned out. I wanted something new, something exciting, something different. And Thailand, well, it was kind of the dream. I'd heard all the stories. Cheap cost of living, beautiful beaches, and a much slower pace of life. To me, it sounded perfect. I figured I'd be able to live like a king on a teacher's salary and have plenty of time to explore and just enjoy life. I'd been working so hard back in the States for years, and I thought, why not? I didn't have anything keeping me back, so why not go chase this dream? Pattaya was where I landed first. For those who don't know, it's a coastal city in Thailand, known for its beaches, nightlife, and sex tourism. Some might say it's a little wild, but to me, it's felt like the perfect spot to kick off my new life. I rented a place, got myself settled, and started to soak up the atmosphere. Life was good at first, really good. I could go out on a whim, meet new people, enjoy some beach time, and honestly, it was a complete 180 from what I was used to in the States. There was no deadlines, no crazy hustle. I felt like I had all the time in the world. And let me tell you, that feeling of freedom, it's addictive. It's easy to get lost in that feeling when you've been working your tail off for years, thinking about how you want to escape it all. The sun, the warm air, the beaches, the food, it was like a never-ending vacation, but this time, I was living it, not just visiting. For the first time in my life, I was really enjoying it. Every day felt like I was on top of the world. There were no real worries, no obligations. I was doing my own thing, and I was loving it. It's one of those times where you think, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. You start to think you have everything figured out, right? And at that time, I did. I had money, freedom, and a whole new world to explore. But like they say, sometimes things are too good to be true. And well, that's where the real story begins. While I was staying in Pattaya, I met this woman named Arpa. I met her one night at a bar. She was a bar girl, and I know what you're probably thinking, oh man, here we go. But let me tell you, at the time, I didn't think anything of it. I wasn't looking for a serious relationship or anything. I was just living life and meeting new people. But man, she was different. Arpa was 30, from the Isan province, the northeast of Thailand, and she had this incredible energy about her. I mean, she wasn't just your typical bar girl. She was funny, charming, and super easy to talk to. I wasn't sure if it was just a fling or something casual, but after spending some time with her, I started to catch some real feelings. And let's be honest, I was also a bit of a sucker for the whole Thai girl charm. She made me feel special in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. I'd been living alone for months, so having someone around who actually seemed to care about me felt like a breath of fresh air. Plus, she was fun to hang out with, and every time we'd go out, we'd have the best time. The chemistry was undeniable. Before I knew it, we were pretty much inseparable. I started spending a lot of my time with her, and she quickly became my main focus. But here's the thing, I wasn't exactly thinking clearly. I was getting caught up in the fantasy of it all. She'd tell me how she wanted to start a business, how she had dreams of getting her family out of poverty, how she wanted to build a better life for herself, and I, being the nice guy I am, thought I could help her achieve that. I don't want to say I fell for her quickly, but yeah, I totally did. I was more than just a little bit invested, and that's where things started to get tricky. She wasn't just asking for small stuff. Over time, she started asking for money, and at first, I didn't think much of it. I mean, she needed help, right? She had big dreams, and who wouldn't want to support the person they care about? So what did I do? Like a dumbass, I helped her out. I helped out her family buy a house in her hometown in Isan, thinking that I was doing a good thing. I was the quote-unquote American guy who came to Thailand and was helping whoever was, I guess, in her village, but that wasn't the end of it. No, she had a bigger plan in mind. She wanted to start a business, something small in her town, and I thought, why not, So I threw more and more money into that business that she had, thinking I would be worth it in the end for her and I. I'm a dreamer, I thought everything would work out perfectly if I just gave a little more. But man, looking back, I see how blind and stupid I was. I was buying to this fantasy, that idea I was helping her build something real, something meaningful. What I didn't realize was that I wasn't helping, I was getting used. She had me wrapped around her finger and I didn't even know it. I kept giving and giving and giving, thinking I was making a difference, but all I was doing was sinking myself deeper and deeper into a hole. By the time I started realizing what the hell was going on, it was too late. She wasn't the same girl I had fallen for. I wasn't the guy she was in love with. I was just a walking ATM, and I didn't see it coming, okay? Here's where the wheels really started to come off. At first, everything felt like a dream, right? I was helping Arpa. I thought we were building something together, and life kind of seemed perfect. But slowly, without me even realizing it, things started to shift. The business I'd funded, it totally flopped. And that's when the cracks started showing. I had no idea how bad it was until the business went down the drain. She'd been asking for more and more money to keep things afloat, but no matter how much I gave, it never seemed enough. Eventually, the business crumbled, and instead of figuring out a way to bounce back, Arpa seemed to retreat into herself. She became distant, no more texts, no more calls, and when I did see her, she wasn't the same. The bubbly, sweet woman I had met was replaced by someone who seemed like she couldn't care less about me. And I was still stuck in this illusion, thinking if I just gave more, I could fix it. But here's the kicker. Even though the business failed, Arpa still came back to me with her hand out, asking for more money, and I kept giving it like an idiot. I kept trying to fix things with cash, thinking I could make things better. The problem was, she wasn't looking for a solution. She was looking for a way to keep using me. The relationship started feeling more transactional than anything else. It wasn't about love or connection anymore. It was about what I could give, and it crushed me. I had this sinking feeling in my gut that I was being used, but I didn't want to admit it. I kept thinking if I stuck around long enough, it would turn around. I ignored all the signs because I didn't want to face the truth. But reality has a funny way of slapping you in the face when you least expect it. As my money started running out, so did Arpa. The texts became less frequent, the calls stopped coming, and when we did see each other, it was like she wasn't even there. The whole situation was turning toxic, and I didn't know how to get out. My savings were draining fast, and I was getting deeper into the hole, and instead of confronting the reality of what was happening, I started turning to hard drugs. I thought it was the only way to numb the pain, to escape the feeling of betrayal. So I let myself fall into that trap. What was once a paradise turned into my personal nightmare. By the time I realized just how bad things had gotten, I was already too far gone. I had nothing left. Not money, not energy, and certainly not the willpower to keep fighting. I knew I had to get out of Thailand before things got worse, but even that wasn't easy. So this is where it all went down. I hit rock bottom. After everything fell apart in Thailand, my money, my relationship, my health, I had no choice but to leave. I had to get out of here. I had nothing left. I scraped together just enough to buy a plane ticket back to the States and hopped on a flight, not really knowing what was next. When I landed back in the States, it felt like a punch in the gut. I came home with barely any money to my name. My savings were gone. I had no job lined up, and worst of all, I was broken. Mentally, emotionally, financially, I felt like a total failure. 37 years old, back in my parents' basement. It was the last place I ever thought I'd be at this point in my life. It was humbling to say the least. The worst part wasn't just coming back home to nothing. It was a realization that I'd lost everything I had worked so hard for. It was more than just the cash or the relationship. It was the dream I had built up in my mind all these years. I had convinced myself that I could live this amazing life in Thailand, free from the stress and pressures that I'd known in the US my whole entire working life. But what I didn't account for was how vulnerable I was, how easy it was for someone to take advantage of my generosity. I was naive. I thought I could be the savior, but instead, I was the one who needed saving. It didn't take long for me to face the truth. I was in deep. I was using drugs to cope with everything that had gone wrong. It was my way to try to numb the pain and escape the reality of it all. But that only made things worse. I realized I needed help, so I checked myself into a rehab center. The road to recovery was long. It was the best decision I could have made. I had to rebuild myself from the ground up, physically, mentally, emotionally. I had to confront the mistakes I made, learn from them, and figure out how to not let them define me. Now, looking back, I realized just how naive and stupid I was. I keep saying this word stupid because it's true. I really was stupid. I let myself get caught up in the illusion of what Thailand could be. I didn't protect myself. I didn't protect my heart or my finances. I didn't set clear boundaries. I thought I could change things with money, that I could fix it all by giving more, but life doesn't work like that. You can't buy love. You can't buy happiness. You can't fix people with your wallet. There's one thing I want anyone to take away from my story is this. Don't be fooled by the fantasy. It's okay to dream, but don't get lost in it. Be smart with your money, protect your heart, and never let anyone take advantage of you. And most importantly, take care of yourself. That's the real key to living a good life, whether you're in Thailand, the US, or anywhere else. No one's gonna ever save you. You gotta save yourself, man. Listening to Paul's story, it's clear that the dangers of dating bar girls or freelancers while traveling go beyond just the relationship itself. It's about managing your finances wisely. Paul's downfall wasn't just emotional, it was financial. The one thing that, if not handled properly, could totally F up your life. He had no clear plan or budget for how to spend his savings, and he let his generosity spiral out of control. The important lesson for any passport bros or travelers is this. Have your finances in order before you make any big moves. Set a budget, stick to it, and avoid getting swept up in the fantasy of a relationship that could drain your resources. Always have a plan for how to protect your money, your well-being, and your future, no matter where you are in the world. And with that, guys, make sure to check out my previous video right over here. And send over a story of your own that you'd like to be featured in the next video. Subscribe, share, like, and comment. My name is Roberto, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.